All right, boys. The long-awaited Week 1 breakdown is finally here. Bear with me. My voice might give out on me. I might have to take a couple drinks here and there, but I'm going to do my best to do a quick summary of all these games. So, yeah, let's get right into it. First game of the season, me versus Joe. My team obviously looks a lot different now after all the transactions and everything. Joe has made one change, but everything that he brought is still in his team. I no longer have Hoopa down here. So going up against Joe's team in prep, he had a very defensive team, which generally you want to set up on to kind of break through. But then he has Ditto, which makes that extremely difficult to actually pull off. So I saw this Xerneas beat a Eternatus in an Ubers game a couple weeks ago, and it was using this block set with Geomancy, Moonblast, and Rest. And it essentially was able to get bulky enough that the Sludge Bomb from Eternatus wasn't doing anything to it. Eternatus is Poison and Dragon, by the way, so it really should beat Xerneas one-on-one at all times, but with that set that they were running, they ended up avoiding crits from Sludge Bomb, able to rest off all the damage, got the +6 with Xerneas, and then just swept the team from there because they locked the Eternatus in and PP stalled it out of Sludge Bombs. So that was kind of my idea with Crocodile this week. I really thought Crocodile had a good matchup against Mega Aerodactyl, good matchup against Flygon, pretty good matchup against Rotom even. I just felt in general Crook was going to be really strong, so I wanted to try to pull it off with that. The rest of the team is kind of a lot of offense to be able to chip some stuff down, get some stuff out of the way to let Crook do its job. The idea with Crook was I'd be able to trap Ditto or Aerodactyl and remove those, and then Darmanitan could kind of win from there. Obviously if he didn't have Avalugg, I had a lot of good answers to Avalugg anyway with Slowking, Lele, and Hoopa, but I kind of wanted Darm. The idea was to get Darm to sweep after Crook trapped, but we'll kind of just get into this and you'll see how it went. So I let off with Darm. I ended up going with Choice Scarf. Felt like it was a pretty good lead against his team, unless he was running a Scarf Mew or something. I doubled out, just not wanting to take a Scarf Flygon Fire Blast or something in case he was running that. It wasn't worth the risk. That's why I went into Slowking here. Goes for the superpower. Obviously Darmanitan wouldn't have appreciated that. Slowking's a pretty good check here, and I can just start kind of positioning myself, get some damage down. Mew against my team, there was a little bit of a worry I had of him being Nasty Plot with Shadow Ball and Vacuum Wave. That probably would have been pretty annoying against my team that I brought, especially if he got it set up where Shadow Ball was going to do a ton of damage to Hoopa or something. I just go into Lele here, and my plan is just try to do as much as I can to Mew. He's running an offensive sort of Mew, which made sense given his team comp. I ended up getting a nice Spadef drop with that Shadow Ball. Oh yeah, there was a lot of hacks in this game too, which allowed me to go for the Moonblast on the next turn. I go for the Moonblast just because it's a little bit stronger into everything else not named Rotom on his team. I didn't really feel like Rotom was going to be a consistent switch in anyway for Lele, so I just went ahead with this. Got some real big damage off on his Soft Boiled. I'm able to take him out on the next turn. So Lele kind of just did its job right there, being able to take out Mew. That makes it a lot easier for Croak and Darmanitan. Still assuming the Flygon is Scarfed based off the U-turn. As we can see, well, you can't see the chat, but on the last turn, he crit me with U-turn. That's a little foreshadowing for what's about to happen. So that crit definitely mattered on Rotom. Now, with his Overheat only doing 47, he wasn't going to be able to kill me on the next turn anyway, so I was going to get a crazy strong Dark Pulse into anything else. Getting rid of Rotom obviously was really nice. I mean, looking at the matchup, if I take care of Avalugg, Darmanitan's going to go to work. but Crocodile has a really good time now. So I just go down to the U-turn from Flygon here. I don't really need Hisoka anymore. Now, Aerodactyl comes in. Looking at his team, I feel extremely confident that I can trap anything in there. If he wants to go into Flygon, that's the only thing that can, like, kind of do something to me, but he can't superpower forever. But I also didn't expect a Flygon to switch straight into a Crocodile here, so I feel pretty good that he's going into Ditto or Avalugg, so I'm able to trap it in here. And then, yeah, we'll just kind of skip ahead here. All I'm doing is just trying to avoid crits at this point. Maybe PP stall him out of body presses. That way I know for sure that I'll be able to live a crit avalanche. Crit body press only did up to 88% to me on a max roll. That's why I was going for a lot of rests at higher health now that I was kind of defensed up, just to guarantee that a crit wasn't going to kill me. I didn't want to mess around with it. I needed as much health as I could on it. So I ended up avoiding all the crits. Now that I'm healthy, I can just go ahead and start attacking him. I'm going to 2-hit KO him from there. That was a double power avalanche into a +6 crook and only did 17. So yeah, now I can trap Ditto in again, and I can guarantee that I get myself back up, because Ditto is most likely to be running Choice Scarf. That means he only has 5 moves. I know that a crit Throat Chop is not doing a whole lot of damage to me, and I can kind of PP stall him out, get a good health up, and then sweep from there. This was a really cheesy set. I don't necessarily plan on bringing it most weeks. I thought it made a lot of sense versus his Ditto. It's a lot tougher to pull off, I think, against some of the other teams that I was looking at in the league. But I'm happy I was able to do that. I thought it was really fun. I mean, for myself, I know Joe did not think that was fun, and I'm sorry for that. That was obviously not a great time for you. But yeah, I can just take him out after the struggle here. There we go. And I attacked that turn instead of resting. 1, only just to get to 69%. But 2, if he struggled on the next turn, I wouldn't have got the kill, and I wanted Crook to get as many kills as possible at this point. So Joe goes for the crit Stone Edge, doesn't get it. Even then, crit Stone Edge wasn't going to kill me at 69. And I'm able to just completely tank whatever hit from Flygon and clean him up. So yeah, didn't really get to use Darmanitan this game. That was kind of what I wanted to. My first plan was Darmanitan was going to like put in a lot of work, but Crocodile kind of took care of business for me. So we'll go on to the next one here. What a great game. What a great game. Really well played on both ends until the end of the game. It got a little weird. But yeah, like I typed up a report for Berg, kind of because I didn't want to talk about all of his plays and everything because of my voice. But he made all the right plays, I believe, up to a certain point. He ran Normalium Z on Dragapult, or not Dragapult, on Reggie Drago for Primarina, but Paul was bringing a really bulky Prima, and we'll see that it didn't actually do a lot of damage, but at least he was able to get it to connect, which is cool. Seeing something that you theoried up actually play out in the game, which is always nice. Yeah, Chestnut can't really do anything to Charizard. He goes for the EQ here. Flare Blitz actually does more damage to Primarina, even though it's resisted, because you get the Tough Claws boost and Stab. But yeah, I didn't agree with Berg going into Weezing consistently on Primarina, just because its special defense isn't really that great. Now, Paul wasn't running a ton of offense on Primarina, so it ended up being fine, but, you know, Weezing was his Mamoswine answer already with Levitate. He starts getting some incredible strange Steam Luck to this game, especially in the Altaria. But yeah, free Defog. Weezing doesn't really take a ton of damage from it. It's able to just kind of put in work here. I'm kind of skip ahead a little bit. This is just back and forth. So this is what I thought was really interesting. Berg was used Weezing to switch into Primarina, and then Paul goes back into Primarina, and then he switches out into the correct Pokemon that should have been in front of Primarina in the first place. So, like, Berg definitely knew Gastrodon was going to be his Prima answer. He just didn't consistently go to it. I got a couple notes here. Yeah, nothing really crazy here. He ends up getting Reggie Drago in. Yeah, so he has Reggie. He switches out to Reggie Drago on the Gengar, which I don't know how that timing worked out. I don't know if he was predicting a switch or whatever, but Altaria obviously didn't want to eat a dragon move from Reggie Drago anyway. But Berg's plan was probably the same either way if Altaria stayed in. He's clicking Normalium Z here. Really ballsy doing that in front of a ghost type because it's immune. But 40% is obviously a ton of damage to a really especially defensive Pokemon. So it was cool that he was able to pull that off. Just going to go ahead here. Yeah, when he switched out of Gastrodon, it stayed at 34%, which ended up making it no longer a check to Gengar. If he was able to recover one more time, he could switch into Gastrodon on Gengar and Primarina like indefinitely. But he switched out prematurely into Weezing or something, and it obviously now can't deal with Gengar. His team is super weak to Gengar, so keeping Gastrodon alive would have been really nice. Right here, you don't necessarily know if it's Choice Scarfed or not. Charizard can eat a hit. I probably would have just went into Scissor, but you know, maybe he had Hidden Power Fire, would have got a little hairy, so this is a fine play for sure. So right here, goes for the EQ again. I think Flare Blitz would have been fine once again. You know, at least gets damage off on Altaria. It's almost certainly going to kill Gengar too. It's so strong. Great call on the Dragon Dance here, and then great call attacking on the next play. Like, that was actually very well done on Berg's end. So it goes into Gengar here, and this is something Berg just needs to instinctively realize. He was +1 with his Charizard here, right? So that's essentially like it has a Choice Scarf on. Gengar has a higher base speed. You can see when I'm hovering over, it says speed 202 to 350. Charizard is 184 to 328. So Gengar's naturally faster. But after a +1 with max speed Charizard, you should be faster than Gengar. Well, Gengar comes out and kills him with a Sludge Wave. So instinctively, you have to know Gengar is now choice locked into Sludge Wave. Because he's Choice Scarfed. That's the only way he could possibly be faster than you without while you're Dragon Danced. So going into Scissor is probably the correct play here. Get a little chip on Zero on the switch. Dragapult, not necessarily the best play, but it does force Gengar out at least. Goes into Prima on the Flamethrower. Don't really know what you were predicting there, Berg. But yeah, now you can go for T-Bolt. Yep, Primarina is going to Sleep Talk into Scald. Does a good chunk. Now here. Okay. There is a world where E switches into Zeraora on the Thunderbolt. Is that a world that you're actually scared in? No. So it's already at 100%, so you're not really worried about giving it health back, right? It's just going to be immune to your Thunderbolt. You can just go into Weezing on the next turn if Zeraora is out here. Kept switching Weezing into Primarina for whatever reason, and you end up letting it get another rest off on the next turn here, and taking chip on your Weezing. So definitely not the right play. Should have just went for the T-Bolt, got rid of the threat, and then played from there. I mean, like, I get it. Poison beats Fairy. Like, that's the concept there, but the water moves do a ton of damage still. Now you're still in a tough spot because Gengar is super strong into the rest of your team. Goes for Sludge Wave. Okay, you already know it's choice locked. You saw that Sludge Wave is going to kill you on the next turn. This Dragapult is running Sucker Punch, and he didn't click it. Definitely would have killed Gengar at 78%. Going into Scissor, finally. The SD here, probably a little premature, just because Zeraora is still out. But as we can see, E gets a little unlucky there. And he's able to live a crit Blaze Click through the Akka Berry, which is just insane, and then kill him back with Dual Wing Beat. That was just wild. Now here. Scissor kills Gengar with a Bullet Punch. Scissor roosts on everything else on his team. You just go for the Bullet Punch here. but decided to sack the rest of the team. Once again, right here, just go for the SD because he can't touch you, and you can just roost on everything else. E obviously misplayed there, going for the Sludge Wave into a Steel type. Forgot about that. But now Scissor's back at full and can kind of just go to work and clean up the rest of the game. This is a really interesting play here. Berg, once again, for whatever reason, doesn't click Bullet Punch into Gengar. Now it has Destiny Bond up. If Berg clicks Bullet Punch on the next turn, he actually dies. So, he actually goes for the SD, which is the correct play, and E switched out. But now Bullet Punch definitely sweeps the rest of the team. So, yeah, Berg gave me a couple heart attacks this game. I know he's like kind of kicking himself a little bit for that one, but like honestly, like he didn't even play that bad. Berg, or he just didn't have a great matchup into Scissor and Gastrodon overall, which is, you know, it's tough. It's a weird combo to kind of be prepared for and everything, especially with Gastro being tier 4. But yeah, no, it was a really, really well played game, and I'm really happy for Berg to get his first win. If you can beat E, you can beat anybody in the league. So yeah, definitely keep that in mind. All right, going to the next one here. All right, I didn't get to watch this one live. Well, I did for a couple turns, but I was driving and got a phone call. It was tough to watch the whole thing. I like how Dodge brought Indeedee and Deoxys this game. Get the synergy of the Psychic Terrain and the Frail Psychic type. Savage spin out doing 61% is just insane. Now, yeah, Dodge here misplays Mega Evolving Garchomp. The team he brought does not have a good answer for Espeon. So you kind of do have to sack something at this point. But yeah, it's tough having Garchomp in front of Espeon when it's going to be able to kill it with 2 Dazzling Gleams, even if it didn't go for the Savage spin out in the turn before. Alright, Expanding Force, getting the knockout on Azu. I don't remember. Oh, he was running Belly Drum. Should have just went for the Aqua Jet on that turn to save the Azu. Azu had a really good matchup into Tai, and if Dodge was able to preserve Azu, I think that would have given him a pretty hard time. But yeah, now that Darmanitan's in, it's like, take your pick. Darmanitan probably could have just stayed in and Flare Blitzed for the rest of the game. I don't think the U-turn was necessary. But yeah, the light screen up, Kyurem being fat as crap. Ty does a really good job pivoting around and everything. Now he's got 2 Psychic types left. He just has to use Gliscor and Kyurem to his advantage, and then Mimikyu can kind of pick him off from there. So, yeah, I don't think this was a bad game at all. I know Dodge is at a pretty big disadvantage with the RNG team, but if he was able to play around and use Azumarill a little bit more, I think that would have given Ty a really hard time. Would have been really fun to see how that played out. But yeah, GG's guys. Moving on to the next one. I'm like really losing gas here, so I'm just kind of moving through this. Yeah, Tommy had a good matchup into Matt's Rain team with Coco and Superior. Really good combo. And I think Tommy played this game nearly perfectly. I was in a Discord call with him during the game. He had me muted, and I was kind of listening to his thoughts. And right here, like, show me the fighting resist on Matt's team. Oh, wait. For those of you playing along at home, we have not found a fighting resist yet on this team. So, like, Tommy just needs to click close combat instead of taking Iron Barbs damage from Surging Strikes. Like, there's no real reason to click anything other than close combat there. You turn out on Polytoad and the Serp. Yep, just going to your pivot here. Serp was running a really nasty attack with a knockoff to be able to knock off Chansey. Serp's a really good mon, ton of coverage, a lot of utility. And then it can be super offensive with contrary leaf storms. Heal off the Toxic on the Urshifu. Do a little Rocky Helmet Chimp to this Chansey. Yeah, and at this point, like, I mean, you just click Close Combat with Urshifu. You know, I don't necessarily know what Serperior's doing to Chansey still. But he is stalling out rain turns, at least. Now the Dragon Tail, like, I kind of get. I feel like at this point you just kind of keep leaf storming, but like, I mean, it's not like I was a bad player or anything. But this does now allow you to get in the Poltegeist and clean, because you're able to get Chansey down a little bit. You get the weak armor boost from the Focus Sash Poltegeist, get your Shell Smash up. Now you're faster than everything on his team, even under rain, and you can kind of just start going to work here. Just Shadow Ball and Stored Power. And yeah, and Chansey didn't have anything to hit Poltegeist. And as we can see, it did 55% there, so Poltegeist is going to end up winning that exchange. Yeah, get a little Giga Drain off. That also works into Chansey as well, because it gives you enough health to live a couple Toxics in case he went for it on that turn. Yeah, I mean, it was just extremely well constructed out of Tommy this week, and he played it to a T. So GG's to both of you guys. All right, I'm gonna get the next week's matchup set up real quick. Okay, so as we can see the final scores here, we had 5-0s from Ty and Tommy into Matt and Matt, a 1-0 from Berg into E, and then a 4-0 from me into Joe. 3 Pokemon had 5 kills this week, which is awesome. I thought I was going to be leading the league with Crocodile, and I'm now in 4th with it, so it's crazy. All right, so this week we got Tyler versus Berg, me versus E, the Matts playing each other, and then Tommy and Joe. Should be a pretty exciting one. I think E and I are playing Friday night. Hopefully I'm feeling better by then, and I can hang out in the Discord afterwards a little bit longer. Yeah, super exciting stuff. Gonna go over to the transactions real quick and just summarize this. Let's see if I can change my dimensions. All right, so Tyler and I have used all of our free agencies moves this year. That means we are no longer eligible to trade or pick up free agents for the rest of the season. Our rosters are locked. Only other player to make a change so far has been Joe with Toxicroak over Reggie. So yeah, use that to your advantage. There's a ton of good stuff still out there. Just formulate those teams. I mean, you can kind of counter team Ty and I now because we're kind of stuck with what we got. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I will catch you guys in the Discord and see you next week. Peace.